There has certainly been a lot of talk about reimagining police the past couple of years, but Tompkins County might have one of the most unique programs. It's a pilot one that's going to be starting very soon towards that goal.
It is called the Tompkins County Sheriff's Office Unarmed Pilot Program. Sheriff Derek Osborne joining us now. We want to learn more about it and welcome the sheriff to our evening program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, very simply, Sheriff, let's get started. What is the Unarmed Pilot Program? Explain that to us.
Well, this program came out of our reimagination process that we've been working on nonstop in Tompkins County. What this does is provide a mechanism to respond to certain calls that don't necessarily require a physical response or the response of an armed deputy. What the program will do, it consists of 2 sheriff clerks who are civilians. They will be working hand in hand with our law enforcement deputies, and they will seek to handle certain types of calls over the telephone using their skills, both providing that alternative response while also lessening the load on our road patrol deputies.
For instance, Sheriff, what kinds of things might they be responding to? Like, what would the advantages to this program be for your office and the community, too?
Yeah, well, I mean, there currently already is a number of calls that we handle that deputies handle just over the telephone that they don't necessarily have to physically respond. So we're going to move that burden away from our sheriff deputies to our sheriff clerks. The calls can be anything from a very minor property damage accident, say an MVA involving a deer, which is quite frequent in our county, right to property type complaints or noise complaints. It could be a larceny where there's no known suspect, very little to go on. The likelihood of solving that is next to nothing. Sheriff clerks can handle those, as well as noise complaints, like I said. A lot of times deputies will respond to a noise complaint and they simply just have to tell a person to turn the music down, for example. We don't see a reason why our sheriff clerks can't handle calls of that nature.
You had a forum today for the public. What were some of the questions or issues that came up today?
Yeah, well, this is something new, as you mentioned, and of course that brings a lot of questions to the forefront. People in general were just asking what roles the sheriff clerks would play, what type of calls they'll be handling. Things like that. I would say the overall reaction seemed positive from what I could gather.
Sheriff, how is your office handling this so far? I know the program hasn't started, but there's training going on right now. Any pushback from inside, or you feel like they're all kind of willing to give this a chance?
Yeah, no, I think everybody in my agency, the deputies included, are very excited about this. They see this as a means to lessen their load, to divert some of the non-essential calls away from what they do. And hopefully that'll give them more opportunities to be more proactive and engage our community in a better way and have more time to do that.
And how are you going to judge the success of this program, and how long is the pilot phase?
The pilot phase is 3 years. We are asking the community in Tompkins County to actually provide us the means to measure success in this program. So we're asking for input from them, how to determine that. It's easy for us just to count the number of calls the sheriff clerks handle that were diverted from road patrol deputies, but there's a lot more to that, and we're seeking input as far as that goes. We're also asking the community to provide input if there's other call types that they think the sheriff clerks can handle. This has been a process for all of Tompkins County, and the community has been at the forefront of that.
Tompkins County Sheriff Derek Osborne, the Unarmed Pilot Program begins July 5th, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, the 2 sheriff clerks we hired are in training right now. We're hoping to go live July 5th, and they'll have somebody with them even beyond that to help them along the way until they are completely comfortable being on their own.
Well, we'll be sure to follow up with you, Sheriff, to see how successful, and maybe other communities will take a look and see what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.